The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. First and 12. A total roundup of BYU and Utah football and the expanded Big 12 Conference. Subscribe to the First and 12 podcast. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, another week of the Big 12 football as we follow it here with First and 12. Alex Kirry, Mitch Harper, thanks for being with us on the program. You can download the podcast wherever fine podcasts are found. So check it out there. Mitch, let's jump in right here, man. We have some sound from across the conference, wild stuff to be able to jump into, anything that has to do with the conference. We've got our ears to the ground. It is our Big 12 Sound Roundup. Let's do it.
Big 12 Sound Roundup.
Check 1, 2.
The best bites, cheap shots, and excuses from Saturday's postgame news conferences.
So in the Big 12, it's a different league. We know that, Alex. And the Big 12, when some leagues are zigging, they'll zag to a different outlet. And Dave Portnoy apparently has become the mouthpiece for the Big 12 from Barstool Sports. He was using his platform on Big Noon Kickoff to praise the Big 12 and say they can compete with anyone in college football. This was Portnoy.
The top 10 rankings, if you look at, we got 6 teams with a loss in it. And then you got BYU sitting there undefeated in the Big 12, not in the top 10. It's disgusting. And the thing about it, this isn't just like me talking out of my butt here. Last year, what happened? Arizona State, they're the Big 12 rep. They're one play away. They should have beaten Texas. Texas almost beats Ohio State, who won the national title. I don't know why the Big 12 doesn't get any respect. Their teams can play with any of the teams in the SEC or Big 10, the top of the conference. They get absolutely no respect on a national scale. If you're undefeated, games on the field matter. I care about who has more points at the end of the game, not hypotheticals and you guys talk and this, that, who's better. Win the games on the field. BYU is undefeated. They are 100% a top 10 team. I'm not saying they end there, but you can only judge them by what they do on the field, and they can play with anybody. So I'm shouting out the Big 12 this week, right now, who got disrespected in the rankings. No way BYU should be a top 10 team. No way.
It's refreshing to see a national voice actually giving some praise to the Big 12 because it does feel like there's this unspoken cap or lid on Big 12 teams on where they can be in the rankings.
Right. Yeah, and, I think people look and they see. And it was funny, too, because even BYU going up to 10th, I think, this week, and they're tied with Miami, that even felt like a slight where you're like, you're tied with a team who has a really bad loss on the year. And by the way, it's kind of a middling ACC team. Like, they haven't really done a ton over the last few years. Obviously, we grew up watching a great Miami program, and they're getting kudos from those decades past. I really am convinced of it. From a brand perspective, you think Cincinnati is always going to get overlooked. Houston is definitely going to get overlooked, and they do. They are getting overlooked. I mean, it's not like a Navy team that's 8-0 who hasn't even hasn't cracked the top 25 yet. Yeah. But there is like a vibes of that where you go, so explain to me again why Texas is still where they're at with 2 losses. Explain to me again why Notre Dame is 2 losses and right behind BYU in the rankings. Like it is hard to figure out. Or 2 losses and they're ahead of Texas Tech, for example. Like, you got to be kidding me. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of 1-loss teams. Not just that, there are a couple 2-loss teams that are in front of Big 12 teams that I think are deserving of it. We complain about the polls a lot, Mitch, except for but here's the deal. The reality is that you need those rankings, because if you think the College Football Playoff Committee is not going to consider anything that happened in prior weeks with other rankings, you're dead wrong, because they're humans, and they're going to make this decision. They're going to try to figure out these things. Now, here's good news for BYU or other teams in the Big 12. You're going to go into the College Football Playoff rankings, and they tell you that it's going to be a different way to rank it. We'll actually see if that's the case when these first College Football Playoff rankings come out. At least those are the ones that matter.
1 week from today, we'll find out on where those teams rank in the playoff rankings. We teased it. Coach Prime in Colorado, they got hammered at Utah. I honestly don't think Deion Sanders has lost this bad at anything in his life, but he did reference one instance that was as bad of a beating as he experienced on Saturday.
This is bad. It's probably the worst beating I've ever had, except for when my mama whooped me as a kid. 422 yards rushing, you ain't winning. You're not winning. At 300 yards, you're not winning. 250, you're not winning. It's not capable Total offense, 140 yards, you're not winning. You're not winning. They had 587 yards of total offense. You're not winning. With that, special teams gave up a fake punt as well as a block punt. You're not winning. So all three phases, we got our butts kicked.
Yes, Coach Prime. Never one to pull punches on that one. It is weird. It is weird to watch them coming off a bye week to look so flat. Look,
they didn't care.
They did not. And the injury report was a mile long.
Yeah. I
don't care, though. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Everybody's dealing with injuries this time of year. Not showing up at that game, like, at all is a weird way for them to follow up that win over Iowa State at home 2 weeks ago when they're rushing the field. And they hadn't had this type of excitement there in Boulder in a long time. And Prime's coming off of getting, surgery and everybody feeling good about things. So it's a weird spot right now because I have no clue what to think of Colorado except for when you have a performance like that, you're not a serious contender.
It was a tough spot for sure for Colorado, but on a much more tougher scale, bigger and much more important really than even the game of football, Houston experienced a tough emotional day in their win over Arizona State. They had the passing of strength coach Kurt Hester. He passed away that day, and Kurt Hester was a national story in college football, what he was battling, and he passed away on Saturday. And Willie Fritz, head coach of the Cougars, who's got them rolling to a 7-1 start, he even noted it was a bittersweet day.
Tough day. An unbelievably important person in our program unfortunately passed away this morning, and very difficult. This day and age, he wanted to do everything he could to try to, his family, that our players wouldn't know until after the game. And got out, I found out about, 11 or 12, and we met with the kids and told them what was going on. And it hurt. It's a bittersweet win, without question. Kurt Hester is an unbelievably important person in our football program. I've been with him for a while. Best strength and conditioning coach I've ever been around, but more importantly, just a really, really fantastic role model for our student athletes. The guy came up on Thursday, just a couple days ago, and he knew his last time he was going to see the guys. And he really delivered a heck of a message to them. And, our thoughts and prayers with their family.
Pretty powerful stuff there. And Kurt Hester, he passed away after a battle with stage 4 melanoma on Saturday, his family announced. But, Houston, clearly, they played inspired football, getting that big win, and now they're in a position where they control their destiny to potentially get to Arlington.
Weird that we're saying that, right? At this point, you go, okay, so we've been making comparisons. Who was this team from last year, this team from last year? What is Houston then from last year? What's Houston compared to the teams that overperformed last year? I don't know. I don't have a comp right now. Maybe Colorado from last year, because Colorado ended up being a 7-2 team, but you don't really necessarily think that they're going to be the top of those 7-2 teams in conference play. Still yet to be seen, I think. I don't know if Houston's had the types of tests, except for they played Arizona State and beat them there in Tempe. I don't know what to say.
Willie Fritz, though, year twos for him, all the places he's been, whether it's JUCO, NAIA, Tulane, now Houston, huge step up. I mean, look, I want to see Willie Fritz remain at Houston because I think he can get this program rolling. He's the type of coach that all these coaching openings, they should probably look at Willie Fritz, because even though he's an older coach, he seems like he's modernized. He evolves with the game. He's been having success for multiple decades, and it doesn't matter what the landscape is of college football. This guy just wins, and clearly he's got a program that's rallying around each other in tough times. So heck of a win for Houston to go down to Tempe and end Arizona State's winning streak at home, 10 games. That was a big victory for the Cougs, and I would say their biggest win since joining the Big 12 Conference. On a much lighter note, this week is Halloween. You much of a Halloween guy, Alex?
I have to be, because I have so many darn young kids.
That's fair.
Back to you.
You know a guy that is a big fan of Halloween? Kalani Sitake.
Kalani loves Halloween.
Well, he loves the candy. This is Kalani.
There's not a candy I don't like. You don't get this figure from being picky. Give it all to me. I take all the sugar I can.
What about those peanut butter taffies? You know what I mean? Those are terrible, just in the generic
Smarties,
black.
I would past that.
The generic
I don't
black
want
and
Smarties.
orange like wax paper they put them in. No, there are some real losers in the candy. This is Kalani's ultimate playing, like, doesn't want to play favorites. Can't even say that a Payday is a crappy candy bar. Can't say it. He doesn't want to offend any of those people out there in Cougar Nation. I saw you on talking about Payday, and I saw you.
I genuinely think, though, Kalani will try anything and everything and find enjoyment with any of that food. Like, literally. I think the man just loves a good food item. Like candy, he'll just eat anything.
It's true. There's a part of me that does that, too. He's probably the guy who has a handful. It's got chocolate and fruit and, like, the Skittles in it, and he just still eats it all. It's fine. It's all sugar. Just get my power going. All right, we'll take a break here. We'll come back. We got more to go. Final segment of the first hour here of First and 12. Stay right here. It is KSL News Radio 102.7 FM, 1160 AM. It's First and 12. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry.